we all enjoy it.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at these stories. First, Rivers State, Okocha, Tonye Cole clash over APC leadership. And then on to Edoguba. INEC sets date for peace accord, Beavers test. And on to Enugu State. Ganduje threatens NCEC with lawsuit over LG polls. And on End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest, we can't be intimidated, Ajero, the NLC president, says. And on 13% derivation, concerns of misappropriation by governors. And on to PDP, Atiku counters Bode George over presidential ambition. We are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Place economic stability and confidence.
I got the freedom to leave of this minister at the top of the because access to our money we put in the bank.
I've always said there are two sets of people. And the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I do.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we all enjoy it.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Place economic stability and confidence.
Of this minister at the top of the because access to our money we put in the bank.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I do.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we all enjoy it.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Place economic stability and confidence.
I got the freedom to leave of this minister at the top of the because access to our money.
I've always said the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we all enjoy it.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Place economic stability and confidence.
I got the freedom to leave of this minister at the top of the because access to our money we put in the bank.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I do.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we all enjoy it.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Place economic stability and confidence.
I got the freedom to leave of this minister at the top of the because access to our money we put in the bank.
I've
tartışacağımız hal sitos bunda olacağım.
economic stability and confidence. I thought the privilege to live of this minister at the top of justice. Because access to our money we put in the bank.
I've always said there are two sets of people: the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I do.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we all join with them.
Nigeria's need now is not about the country. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Ndamzi Ekulo ESQ. Ndamzi Ekulo is a legal practitioner and he's also conflict resolution expert. I'm correct, right?
Yes,
Good morning, Ndamzi, and welcome.
Good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje has threatened a legal action against Enugu State Independent Electoral Commission for recognizing a faction led by Alphonsus Nwafo, which does not include the Ugochukwu Agbala-led group. Ganduje accused NSEC of engaging with unauthorized individuals as APC representatives and violating party and national laws. He asserted that Agbala is the legitimate APC chairman for Enugu State and warned NSEC to cease its action or face a lawsuit. What is your take on this story?
Yes, my take on this story is very clear. I will start by advising the APC in Enugu State to play by the rules. You see, the major problem why electionary processes keep attracting lawsuits is because political leaders have refused to play by the rules. The National Working Committee of the APC have a recognized, certified, led executive in the state. And you see, a different thing is playing out. There are factions in the state, and the Electoral Commission, which ordinarily should confer with the national body of the party, on which is the recognized or lawfully certified executive. You see, they are pinching tent already with a faction. That is really wrong. That is a steps in a very wrong direction that is capable of bringing disagreement and finally leading to a lawsuit. So it is hardly advised that politicians should play by the rules, more especially an electoral commission which ordinarily should encourage sanity in the system. It's recognizing a faction. In my own opinion as a lawyer, I think it is a very wrong move. They should desist from that and confer with the national body on which is the proper state-led ESCO.
Now, would one say that NSEC, like you said, is supposed to be neutral, a neutral party in party affairs, right, conducting elections? Now, with this take by NSEC at this point, would one say that NSEC is compromised, as it were, pitching a tent with a particular faction? Would one accuse NSEC of compromise?
Yes, at this point, because they have already shown steps that are questionable. So if the electorates accuse them of compromise, they wouldn't be doing the wrong thing, because NSEC have already shown that steps, and the steps are against the people. That is what it means. So my advice at this point is NSEC should put a hold to whatever action or inaction they have embarked on, refer to the National Working Committee for a proper direction. So at the end of the day, there will be hitch-free election in Enugu.
Do you actually see that playing out? Because when you look at, there's been accusations and counter-accusations of state electoral commissions, you know, playing, being minions or stooges to probably the executive or to certain interest, vested interest in the state, as it were. Now, with all these accusations and counter-accusations, one would wonder, what is the guarantee of these elections, one, being free and fair? You would agree with me also that I think on my show we have discussed severally where state electoral commissions conduct elections and the ruling party sweeps the entire polls. And there have been calls for scrapping of the State Electoral Commission. And on the other hand, people who are against that call are like, even INEC has not guaranteed free and fair election across the states and in the country. What is your take? What is the way forward in this particular issue?
Yes, it has become a norm in our country that electionary processes lack credibility, you know, whenever the results are declared. In fact, from the campaign time to other electionary activities leading to the conduct of elections in Nigeria, we have seen situations where, you know, that lackluster attitude have led to the people not to have confidence on the electoral commissions. Then the worst of it all is the local government elections. That is the worst of it all in the country. There has never been a free, fair, credible local government election in Nigeria because it is always a selection process.
Okay,
a selection process and not a election per se. The governors in their various states do hijack these elections, even though they make it look democratic. You know, it is corruption personified.
So what's the way forward at this
The
point?
way forward is this. We know that the Independent National Electoral Commission have its own lapses. You know, technologically and manpower, corruption. You know, there are so much vices surrounding the electionary processes in Nigeria. But the truth is, we cannot get it right if the Electoral Act is not properly reviewed and the Constitution is not rejigged. We cannot have free, fair, credible election in Nigeria. Not to talk of what is happening in the local governments, where you see the governor sits in his government house, write these names and submit to whomever becomes the chairman of the State Independent Electoral Commission in that state. So, in my own opinion, I will advocate that powers to conduct elections, local government elections in Nigeria should be reverted to the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Do you see that?
Yeah,
even guaranteeing
yes, even though we cannot guarantee that will bring in sanity in the system, but to an extent, it will improve the credibility of local government elections.
The level of influence at the federal level will be drastically reduced?
Yes, of course. I don't see any reason why the presidency will be interested
federal, that's the next question.
No, I don't see
federal invested interest now play out? Because now we are now leaving the state to move to the federal.
We will not rule out the fact that here in Nigeria, elections lack credibility. And people in power do have influences over who sits at a particular position or the other. But if you revert the elections, the local government elections back to Independent National Electoral Commission, I think the sanity will improve. It will not be the usual carry-go thing. This is my opinion. And if that is done, I can bet you that the least opposition parties will have people in power. But in this case,
now it will not be
in this case, the governor, the party the governor belongs, sweeps everything. It's just a norm in the system. So to revert that trend, to add more credibility, to add a little fairness, even though we know it is difficult to have a credible, fair election in Nigeria. But I think INEC conducting local government elections in Nigeria, we will have a better local government elections.
All right. Chief Tony Okocha and Pastor Tonye Cole of the APC in Rivers State has clashed over party leadership issues. Okocha rebuked Cole for his comments questioning Okocha's authority after a court removed him as caretaker chairman and reinstated Chief Emeka Beke's faction. Cole had claimed Okocha was associated with Chief Nyesom Wike's political circle. In response, Okocha accused Cole of undermining President Bola Tinubu during the 2023 elections, alleging that Cole supported PDP's Atiku Abubakar and avoided promoting Tinubu in his campaign materials. Okocha claimed Cole's actions led to Tinubu's reluctance to support him publicly and suggested Cole was secretly backing Atiku. Okocha emphasized that he reports directly to Tinubu and the APC national chairman, not Wike, and accused Cole of having no legitimate role in Rivers APC. He concluded by advising Cole to accept his political setbacks quietly. Joining me on Open Conversation is Daniel Momo, a political analyst. Good morning, Daniel, and welcome to Open Conversation.
And thank you for having me.
Right.
Yes.
Daniel,
good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Daniel.
Daniel, what is your take on this Rivers State APC bickering back and forth between Tony Okocha and Tony Cole?
Yeah, first, good morning, viewers. Let me start by responding to what he said last and then delve into this. You see, why we advocate for a proper federating unit with its powers on finances, on several autonomies, we must take a back seat and look at the journey so far. How have we fared as a country? Because the truth is that we have tested all kinds of government, whether military, whether parliamentary, all we have tested it. And then we got to ask ourselves, what are the issues? Like what he said. The truth is, yes, it is good that states organize local government elections. But in our own case, and we must note our kind of environment, the truth is, who owns the sensitive materials? National owns it. Not SIEC of any state don't have any sensitive materials. Who owns the data? INEC owns the data. Who owns the non-sensitive materials? INEC owns the non-sensitive materials. What it then tells you is that all of the SIEC of the states are borrowing it. Instead of borrowing, why don't we allow them use their materials? So that in a court of law, if you come to now say, because we have seen where local government elections are conducted, where INEC said they release data to the SIEC of states, and intentionally they remove names of certain persons. People get to go and vote and say where they pasted names, they can't find their names there. Originally, it is in the INEC original data. But sent to conduct local government elections, you won't find those data there. And so I think that at the very moment, trying to get ourselves right, INEC should conduct those elections. Because all of the materials, everything belongs to INEC. None of the SIEC of any state has any single material to do, especially the data to conduct those elections. Now, having said that, I think that Rivers State, this bickering is neither here nor there. Fighting for who you recognize as national, for me, it is not. The Emeka Beke faction were duly elected. They went into congresses duly, my word, they were duly elected. Now, what were the premise that made the national to dissolve them? Does the national has that power to dissolve them? If you accuse them of antipathy, was Emeka Beke given a fair hearing? In other words, if you accuse me of having an affair or romancing the PDP or campaigning for the PDP or anything, I should be given a fair hearing to come before a committee set up by the national body to answer to some things. But you cannot just wake up, and that's why we're saying it's a democracy. One man cannot use a fiat because you either like my face or you do not like my face. You wake up and say, no, the ESCOs of ABCD state are dissolved. Why should that ever happen? Now, good that Emeka Beke went to court, and the court reinstated him. And if we say we practice democracy, there are ingredients of democracy. Rule of law is one. Why not us all obey the courts and then submit back to the court to say with further evidences, this was why we dissolved them. And then let the court have a final say. But unfortunately, Supreme Court over the years had said that every person who is dissatisfied with the decisions of a political party should first seek the internal mechanism of that party. But how about a case where you know that you will not get justice? I think these are the things that we must ask ourselves as a people. I know that I will not get justice. Will I still go there or go to court? Fundamentally, do I have a right to sit where I know, you know it, that you will not get justice here? And then you will go there and then have some delays. At the end of the day, you are booted out. And then the party will say, yes, they gave you a fair hearing. They say, this is what happened, and that's why you were booted out. But on the case of what Okocha was saying, yes, truth be told, during that elections, the Toyeko actually, you saw the posters and all, there was the presidential candidate was it was never there. But he can explain that, why he did that. No, I am not their member, so he can explain why that is done. But the truth is, Okocha had gone to the Court of Appeal. We should please hold on, allow the Court of Appeal make that pronouncement, because going to the court, what you have said is that you have submitted everything you are supposed to say, you have given it to the court, and the court should make that pronouncement on your behalf. So Okocha should be patient enough and wait for the Court of Appeal to make their own pronouncement on this issue.
All right. Now, Daniel, you raised a lot of issues, and why you also answered some of the issues as well. Now, one of the issues you raised was, does the party at the national have the right to dissolve a democratically elected state executive? That's on one hand. Now, the second issue you raised again was with regards to the courts giving judgment, you know, in favor of Emeka Beke. But I don't know if you are also aware that there had also been a court case before now that actually ruled in favor of Tony Okocha, and Emeka Beke did not appeal that matter, and he also ran to a court of sister jurisdiction to institute this case. That's an interesting one, and that was one of the points that Tony Okocha, you know, made when he was rejecting the judgment of this court. And Tony Okocha said there was already a judgment in my favor, and then Emeka Beke did not appeal, and then he ran to another case. I don't know if you understand. Now, this is another perspective to this whole issue. Then you also asked the question, what is the essence of engaging the internal mechanisms of a political party when you're sure you're not going to get justice, everything is already against you? Then the question I want to ask with regards to the question, the concerns you have raised, is, did Emeka Beke actually indulge in anti-party activity?
No, the party who dissolved him should be able to tell the world.
That was the reason they did.
No, see, you cannot be a judge in your own matter. What I'm saying is, when you use like a fiat to dissolve an elected, let's not forget, an elected body, you are supposed to say, I accuse him of these offenses, and we give him 21 days to face the internal party
disciplinary committee.
Yes, and then the man comes with evidences based on what you have accused him about, and to say, no, I did this, I was not this, I did this, we didn't get that. The local party here can tell you, the national never. That's why I said, yes, you saw some posters where the president was not there, but were they funded from the national level? You should ask. There's some questions you must ask yourself. What did the national level fund? Because it's always like that, that when there's a general election, the national party at the national level also funds all various organs in the state. Were they funded? If they were funded, then you can accuse them of not using that money to do what was actually meant.
When the national fund states that they are sure that they are working in line with the vision of the national.
No.
Why should the national fund the state that is working against them.
Okay, now.
Then they will use the money from the national to
No.
protect the interest of another party. Make it make sense to me, Daniel.
No, for the sake of the viewers who are watching, the point is, at the time that the general election was going on, who were the duly elected members in River State? Emeka Beke.
Yes.
There was no problem. He was the chairman here. So then what it means is that every correspondent from the national level comes to him here in River State. He reports back to them. There was no time we heard there were issues. Now, after the elections, they were dissolved. Ordinarily, you are supposed to give them time to answer for a query. You cannot. No. They were Congress.
Answer the issue of the money I asked, whether
the
national should fund a state that is not working in their interest.
No, if it was not working in their interest, why did they not take a step then?
Now, if that is the case, Emeka Beke clearly, you know, his executive clearly in River State were working for Atiku Abubakar.
No,
hold on.
Why did we not say they are working for Obi?
Hold on.
Why was it Atiku?
Hold on. These things were obvious. They
No,
were there. Daniel, hold on.
Okay.
I want to ask a question. The question would be, you said they did not receive funds from the national.
No. We are only looking at what could be. What could be
the reason?
Why? Okay, if you give me money, why did you not put your poster on our own? We are just trying to analyze where could there be a problem.
And I now asked, why would I give someone money to push the agenda of another? Now, if I go by your reasoning, the question would be that you that would expect me to give you money to push the agenda of another, the agenda you were already pushing, are you funded to push it? The question that, let me rephrase the question. By the actions of Emeka Beke, if the argument, because you're not actually the first person that is raising this particular concern on my show, you know, that they were not funded from the national. And so they are quite well within their right not to project the national candidate, the presidential candidate. Then my question is, if that is the case, are they saying by their actions of projecting Atiku Abubakar that they receive funds from PDP national to project the presidential candidate of another party?
No, it will be, because they are not here to defend themselves, we would not say they are Atiku funding them or the PDP did or anybody did. At that time, the leader of the PDP here was the governor of River State.
So probably it will also not be fair to say that the national did not also fund
Yes,
them.
no, I'm not saying they didn't fund them.
Very
We are only looking at, okay, if they were truly funded, why is this happening? Why is that happening? So, you know, sometimes as analysts, we try to look at, okay, could this be true? Could this go this way? So what I'm saying, in essence, is that Emeka Beke was never any fora given a fair hearing to defend himself about the anti-party activity of why his were dissolved. And I think it's within his right. If you did not give me a right of fair hearing, I would think from me that if I go back to you, you might not give me that fair hearing. I will head to court directly. I will not wait for you.
All right. Ndamzi, what is your take on this issue?
Yes, on this issue, I want to borrow a leaf from Mr. Daniel Momo when he said Emeka Beke was not given a fair hearing. You see, political wranglings, I have advocated that political wranglings, when it has to do with internal party disagreement, arbitration should be key. Political parties should learn how to, resolve their issues via arbitration, because seeking redress in court, what it does is, one, it is time consuming.
Exactly.
Two, is expensive. Three, it does not, fix relationships. So, but with arbitration, you see, faces will be saved. Relationship will be secured. At the end of the day, there will be this internal understanding to have everybody work together as a team. But when it has to do with seeking redress in the court, the injured party feels offended that, look, this person have infringed on my right, I have to seek redress. And he will be doing that drastically without minding whose horse is God. But in this instance, the matter is already before the Court of Appeal. So there are issues I may not be privy to divulge here, but one thing I know, and I was privy to know, that during the last general election, APC here in Rivers State indirectly campaigned for Atiku. Even in the unit where I superintended, they were sharing money for members to vote for Atiku. It was an obvious fact that here in Rivers State, particularly, the APC faction here then worked for Atiku. It's not a hidden fact, it's not politics, we are being realistic here. Viewers out there, listeners out there, knows that what I'm positing here is a true fact. Even themselves, the dramatics personals, they know that what I am positing right now is a fact. They indirectly ask their members to vote for Atiku. Even in the various units while the election were going on.
Now, if I may ask you, when you said that they shared money at the ward level, you said
asking members to vote for Atiku.
You said the word that you pretended over, they shared money asking members to vote for Atiku. Where did that fund come from?
Like I said, I may not be privy to know where the funds came from.
Okay.
I may not be privy to know who brought the money.
But
I was privy because I was a grassrooted player during the last election.
Okay.
I superintended the unit in my ward and tell you everything that played out during the election. The Rivers State AP, led by Chief Emeka Bey, then indirectly campaigned for Atiku, and they asked their members to vote for Atiku. It's a known fact, and I think that is the reason the NWC dissolved them, because it's a sheer anti-party activity. And let me also tell us something here for record purposes. Because the political parties in Nigeria have not appreciated arbitration, okay? The rules of engagement is just almost the same. When you offend or go against the party constitution, they may have disciplinary action against you. It is right both in PDP, the APC, and also what is happening in Labour Party currently. So, that decision on Emeka Beke, it's a decision taken in high place, and the best way Emeka could just gotten justice is to seek court redress. There is no way.
No, but
there is no way, like you posited, Mr. Daniel, that he should be fair hearing. We know the client we are. We know the client we are. Arbitration is nothing to write home about when it comes to the political associations here in Nigeria. So this will also be an effort to advocate that political parties should review their constitution, their internal mechanism of resolving issues. Let it be solely arbitration. It will help a lot.
But you wanted to say something?
No, I agree. No, he has touched on what I wanted to raise.
All right. Now, still talking on the anti-party activity, you recall that on the day that the judgment was given in favor of Emeka, Chief Emeka Beke, and he was reinstated by the court to be the APC chairman in Rivers State, when he was addressing the press after the court judgment, one of the things that he said, he extended, he pledged allegiance to the PDP governor of Rivers State. Similarly for His Excellency, he pledged allegiance to him and said that they will work with him. Now the question would be, isn't that actually justifying the move of the APC National Working Committee? Because if you were suspended or your executive was dissolved for anti-party activity, you go to court, or on the day that judgment was given in your favor, while addressing the press, you came out to still make the same statement, which is also tantamount to anti-party activity. So where is the place of opposition in Rivers State if the opposition is now a minion or a stooge to the ruling party?
Well, it is an obvious fact that today in Rivers State, the only viable opposition we can identify is the Tony Okocha-led faction of the APC. Because if a state chairman that was recognized by a court judgment could come up openly and align himself with a governor who is not a party man, that justifies the fact that the NWC accused him of anti-party activities. Otherwise, he should have made statements criticizing the policies of the state government. At that point, even the APC members would have expected the chairman to criticize the government policies, to ask questions about funds received, to ask questions about developmental projects and all that. But he never did. He just went straight and assured the governor of good relations.
All right.
That is...
Daniel Momo, what do you have to say to
no,
that?
you see, the truth is, I think there are places of politicking and there's a place of governance. Should we, in clear conscience, say that the Tinubu's government is into anti-party activity with Governor Wike, ex-Governor Wike? He's not a member of the APC.
No, hold on.
No, I'm coming.
That's
No, I'm coming. No, wait. I'm going.
Different.
I'm going somewhere.
All right.
Just hold on.
Land.
He's not a member of the APC, but he was appointed in terms of governance because the president is no longer just a member of the APC. He is the president for all. Same way it is when it trickles down. The governor of Rivers State is the governor for all. Whether you are in APC, whether you are in PDP, anyone is now the governor. In fact, we are supposed to even accuse the governor if he does anything now favoring the PDP. If he does anything favoring the PDP, we should be able to say no, sir. Why? Because he's now superintending over the money that belongs to the Rivers people, not the money that belongs to the PDP. So, a party person here, like Emeka Bekena, can say they pledge allegiance to the governor of Rivers State, not to the candidate of the PDP. There are two differences. You can pledge allegiance to it. Pledging allegiance doesn't mean that you cannot be in opposition. You are only acknowledging that this man is the governor of Rivers State, and I do not see. I have said it because this. I'm from Edo State. This has happened in my state. That you are wondering, the money meant for Edo people, is it now for only PDP? You have seen that and you are angry that people have refused to translate themselves from a candidate who won an election on a political platform to now one who took an oath to protect the people of that geographical region. So I think that pledging allegiance to the governor of Rivers State is a different ball game to pledging allegiance to the man who was running for election in Rivers State. I do not agree that should be an anti-party activity. But it does not now mean that your allegiance that you are pledging is at the detriment of your own political party, because you are meant to protect that. It comes to that when other things now come and you see that the activities here in Rivers State is so favoring the people of the PDP, then you can raise an issue. Then it becomes a policy issue where we can go to a table and say, no, this is wrong of the governor of Rivers State. But pledging an allegiance to a governor or a president, for me, it is not an anti-party activity.
All right.
It is to the governor of that state, not to a candidate of a political party.
All right. Before I still come to you, Ndamzi, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to disagree with my brother here, Daniel Momo, whether or not on the proprietary or otherwise of Emeka pledging allegiance to the governor,
not to a candidate.
Don't forget, he holds a very sensitive position as a court recognized right now, because the matter is still in court. It has not been put to rest. As a court recognized chairman of one of the most viable opposition party in the state. So, politicians, there are statements you don't make publicly so that your followers and also non-followers would not read you wrongly. He is the head of a major opposition party. We had expected that as a major opposition party, opposition is the watchdog in every democratic setup. You pledging allegiance with the man who sits as the governor of the state. Considering the fact that there are allegations of anti-party activities. So, pitching them again with the governor of the state, it betrays the fact that, oh, this accusation may be true. So, that move, I think he made a mistake. It was a decision he took rashly.
Right.
And it's not a proper thing to do, considering there are myriads of challenges around that anti-party accusation.
All right, Daniel Momo, with respect to what you said last, and you made reference to the APC-led government bringing in the FCT minister who is a PDP member now to be part of the APC government. When you look at it critically, they are not exactly the same with what is playing out in Rivers State. And I will give you an instance. The FCT minister was an ex-governor, done with governance, and then he was brought in as an individual to work for the federal government, not in its capacity as a PDP member, but as a citizen of Nigeria, to work in the capacity of the FCT minister for the government. That's a different ballgame from the PDP. Let's say Damagu, the national chairman of PDP, coming out on a press conference to say, we pledge allegiance, not I as Damagu, but we pledge allegiance, we PDP pledge allegiance to Tinubu, to the government, to the president, and we will work with you in all capacity. They are very different things.
No, let me
hold on.
Okay.
They are very different things. Now, the governor can bring in anybody from any political party as an individual to work for his party. It's a different thing. And that is inclusivity in government, what everybody has been advocating for, all-inclusive government. However, it becomes a different ballgame when the most viable opposition in the state comes out to pledge allegiance to the governor. And now you're saying you can pledge allegiance to the governor as a political party and also be the opposition. Let's differentiate this thing. It's not Emeka Beke, the individual, pledging allegiance. It is APC, a political party, pledging allegiance to the ruling party in the state. No,
I think let's get this. What gave the president the right to appoint the FCT minister? It is in times of governance. In other words, he's no longer a candidate. He wants to deliver the governance to the people, regardless of party affiliations. Remember also that the time they start having this crisis between the governor of Rivers State and the ex-governor, when Tinubu called for the first meeting they had, that was before they signed the agreement. Before that, the first meeting, the governors of PDP met, and the governor of was it Bauchi, Adamu something, Bauchi, said that the governors of the PDP pledged their allegiance to the president to be able to solve the crisis between them. Are we going to see that the PDP governors are into anti-party activities? No. I think the position where I'm looking at it from is that we should be able to have time to say we are politicking and time to say this is governance. You can say that the relationship between the ex-governor and the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in times of governance that can't help us solve this issue because you are capable to do that. It will be bad to look at the governor, the ex-governor in the face and say that's anti-party activity. No, he was only invited as a person. Also, he's also a senior member of the PDP because the last meeting they had were all officials. He was there, seated. Are we going to accuse him of anti-party activities? So I think that we should be able to know the time for politicking. I do not want to, like he said, probably I want to agree that, your first statement, when you were reinstated and all of that, why would you say this? Could it be that he should be in a forum later and say, okay, we appreciate what the governor is doing, rather than say, when you say you pledge allegiance, allegiance is a very strong word, especially when you are in an opposition party. But unfortunately, I do not agree that he's a governor now. It's not a candidate of any political party.
If I may ask, still building on what you have said, can you give me an instance? One, I'm not asking for two. One instance where Emeka Beke played the role of opposition in Rivers State since the inception of Governor Siminalayi Fubara.
No, no, I'm coming. When they were sworn and all of that, he didn't have that time. When they dissolved him, he didn't have that time. He was not there. See, let me tell you. See, the politicians are wise, and they look ahead of tomorrow. It is when the analysts who look at, no, he did this, and he knows that probably whatever he has done, he knows that he is no longer in the good books of this government who won that election, and he knows that certain things will be done. But at that time, it was difficult. They were just getting sworn in. Commissioners were just coming in. A lot of things they weren't that settled enough to say, okay, we now start looking at what are the policy statements, what are the things that this governor want to do before you now start criticizing and say, no, if you go this direction, it is wrong. He didn't have that time before they removed
now it. That he has the time, so far between...
He's on the hot seat.
Hold on.
What time?
Hold on. Regardless, that's a fact. Tony Okocha was also on the hot seat. His position as the CTC chairman was still under contention. Currently, he's still embattled. You agree with me? But he's still speaking. Like what he's saying or not, he's still speaking. He's still critiquing a lot of policies that the governor is. What I'm trying to say is, as much as Emeka Beke was embattled, Tony Okocha, on the other hand, was also embattled because the battle was between the two of them. Yet, Tony Okocha, like his style or not, is he playing the role of opposition? Yes. Is he speaking out about certain things that he didn't feel the party was in line with policies some policies the governor might be embarking on, that he feels that, okay, this is not right. He's speaking out, like his style or not. He's speaking. Right. No, now, on the other hand,
okay,
Emeka Beke is also embattled like Tony Okocha. Question is, why is Emeka Beke, or why was he not speaking? You have answered that.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
Now that he has been reinstated, and like it or yes, he will also need to resolve his issues with the National Working Committee in order to be properly recognized by the National. You would expect that to a large extent he would have to take steps to impress the National that, okay, I am ready to work in line with the party constitution, I'm ready to work in line with the party, I am ready to abide by whatever decisions, but now I'm making steps to show you that I am willing to do the right thing right now. You would expect that. Now, the first press release, I've told you some of the things I said, and on the heels of that, he has gone silent again.
No, see, let me tell you.
And you're telling me he's on hot seat.
No, I'm coming.
It's not your culture out on hot seat as well.
No, just hold on.
Oh, yes.
You see, both of us here, as your guests, have a different view of how we view life and how we attack issues. In history, I have not seen a man who has played opposition as the former spokesperson of the then ACN into APC, Lai Mohammed. Lai Mohammed was a vocal person. Lai Mohammed was always present, but the man who took after him does not operate that way. He doesn't go that way. If it is Lai Mohammed, even at midnight, Lai Mohammed is issuing statements. He has something to say. In fact, it's like he has a camera monitoring Goodluck Jonathan in his bedroom. He has everything to say. There are styles of how people engage. And I will not question, like I said, I would not be sincere to myself on this show if I say that what Emeka Bika said was right. Part of what he said was that he is recognizing the members who defected, who are saying they didn't defect. He is saying that he recognizes they are members of the APC and is giving them number of days.
Hold on. We are not even looking at the political.
No, I'm coming. There were statements that. No, I'm coming. There were statements.
He as a person, if we are to, I really do not want to delve into that.
No, I'm only saying.
The question would be: can Emeka Beke, number one, present these people, bring evidence from his party?
No, I know. No.
The letters that these people are actually members.
I only pick into that because there were several other things he said that personally I do not agree with, and I felt, his submission was perfect when he said, "Look, when they go into arbitrations, when they go to court, and you win in court, you might win the court, but you did not win your people.
You lost the battle but lost the war."
Yes, you have done that, and instead of going sober and coming as a boy that you didn't wait to know me. I am not like this. Oh, maybe you have misunderstood what we did, but please, if that was misunderstood, please forgive us and all that. You now put a battle you know you can never win. You can never win that battle. Don't say that. Because you only picked the word allegiance was what
because we are discussing.
Yes, I know.
That's why I picked
but
it out.
If I sit here in your show and tell you, what he said were no, all the things he said, most things I didn't agree with. That you're just coming in from a battle. And all you do is to engage people more. No, you wouldn't have done that. But again, from your question, I think the difference between Okocha and Emeka Beke could be that, no, I can't tolerate this. I won't issue press statement. You will see you will see Tony Okocha going around media houses, granting press statements. That's the kind of person he is.
What's the role of opposition?
No, see, same way I have said NLC, for example. NLC doesn't mean to fight with government. That's not the meaning. Those were when the military were here, we felt that the military must go and they engage. You are using the same tactics in democracy. I do not believe that being an opposition must mean that I must criticize the governor every day. No. We must be able to say the governor is going a direction. No, sir. A direction will cost us more, will take us a longer time, will put our people out of job. Why don't you go? That's what I'm saying. Why don't you go B? In other words, if you criticize, don't just come to criticize me. Let me see your plan to say that I would have done it better this way than this way that you are doing. Most of what we do here are shouting. It becomes like my place, they say bubu yaya. You just raise dust, and at the time then the dust will go back. Then we'll go back. Then we'll wait again. No. Your position should be that I have a better agenda, a better roadmap to go the direction you are going. That we will not go that direction. We would have gone this direction. Look at the elections in the preparation for the elections in America. They are saying, look, we will do this, you will do that. Your own will cost the government. In fact, they went to us multiplying to say it will cost the government so amount of money. Ours will take this burden out of the government. That should be the opposition. It is not the shout.
But regardless, there is a shout.
No, regardless, there is a way forward. No.
Hold on. We are just looking at, you're criticizing the method of opposition. That's not what we are looking at right now. The crux of the matter is we have two persons embattled.
Yes. No, we look at the form of their engagement.
Emeka Beke, I have asked you, give me one instance. He has engaged.
He's settling down. He's settling down. He's settling down. He's settling down.
You wanted to say something before we move on to the state.
Well, on this Rivers issue, I think we have discussed all the main bullet points.
All right, very well. Ahead of the Edo State governorship election on September 21, 2024, the Independent National Electoral Commission has scheduled several key activities A mock accreditation will take place on September 10 to test the bimodal voter accreditation system and result uploads. The signing of a peace pact accord will occur on September 12 in Benin City, overseen by General Abdusalam Abubakar to promote a peaceful electoral process. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu reported that 10 out of 13 planned activities are complete, including the final register presentation and preparation of voting materials. The collection of permanent voters' cards has reached 68.3%. Upcoming events include an INEC stakeholders meeting on September 11 and the closure of the media accreditation portal. Political parties are urged to conduct issue-based campaigns and ensure a violence-free election within the Inter-Party Advisory Council, emphasizing the need for a credible electoral process. Daniel Momo, you are from Edo State. What is your take on this move by INEC, signing of peace accord?
First, I think that over the years, the signing of the peace accord has really not achieved anything. What it did achieve was that the candidates are present and they are able to exchange handshake
on television,
which is not their fault in any way. I think that the broader peace that needed to be signed is the credibility of the person conducting the elections. That is the major, that is the foundation. And when we came in from a general elections where we were promised heaven and earth, and then but delivered less than that, it causes what? It causes people to feel bad about a process. So I think, yes, as much as we want peace, as much as we want a process to go on, I think that first we should also have a way of putting INEC on the spot. If you are promising that the IRF portal would work, let's see that work. It is not on election day when the expectation is now high, and then it becomes something that we now begin to question. While the peace committee headed by Abdusalam Abubakar, they have done well right from the Goodluck Jonathan's era, even till Jonathan considered that elections. I think they have been true to their calling of always being there for the people and the political parties. But I think for the Edo State, I think there are a lot of things that we need to ask here, which is, are the party themselves ready for a true election? It is not coming to sign, because the indices that is showing in Edo State is that take when they conducted the local government election, a local government election that resulted to people snatching ballot boxes. Local government election, ballot boxes were snatched, guns were used, and in an election that would take almost all the local government. So I think that in just signing that peace accord, when we come to a table like this, we should be truthful to ourselves as members of the state, because we are from the same, the people who come to that table are from the same state. Ask ourselves that true questions. Are we ready to conduct? Because what INEC will do is just bringing those materials. How about the other actors that we are empowering behind? Because just come in and sign that. How do you hold me responsible when there's a violence? How do you hold the candidate responsible? How do we hold the party responsible? And so we should be able to have, if a governorship candidate, for example, is signing a peace accord, if the man is from, for example, say Esako West, and there is a violence, because what politicians does is that once they know that he is popular in a particular area, they cause problem there so that that election will be cancelled, because that's what INEC will say. INEC will say cancel that election. So in coming to the table to sign that peace accord, we must ask ourselves genuinely, as Edo State, people of Edo State, do we really want to conduct, do we really want a free and fair elections for the politicians? And now to the people who will be watching and participating in that election, you must begin to tell yourself that the power is with us. The man who gives you gun, you are only good for the gun. When it comes to sitting with people who decide, you are not fit to be there. And so we must ask ourselves today, is that if we are better off in the last 8 years, do we vote other people? And it should be done peacefully. Why is it that if a political party is coming and campaigning, others don't follow that route? Those days, we remember, there used to be exchange of flyers. There used to be exchange of pleasant people dancing. And how is it now? It has to be violence. People must die. People must be killed. Cars must be burnt. Why does it have to be so? So in coming to that table now to sign those peace accord, who would hold them responsible when there is a violence? Do you hold? I have not seen a candidate being held responsible. So we must ask then, going forward, that this peace accord, what does it really achieve? Rather than the handshake, they come there, they take photographs, they sign. What does it achieve? The violence has not reduced. So I think those are the things that we should begin to look going forward to say, when peace accords are signed, how do you hold the candidate responsible when there is a violence? And you know the funniest thing, that violence will not happen in his home where he knows that he's popular. That place is free. Elections are free. But when he knows that his place is a popular person is going to win, they cause problems there. That is what happened all over. They cause problems. So the INEC said, once there is violence in a particular place, that place is cancelled. That's what they do. But the peace accord cannot hold anybody responsible. It doesn't have that teeth to hold you responsible. Say, okay, violence happened in Edo North, and the candidate who is sponsoring the violence is from Edo Central. How do you hold him responsible? So I think that we need to be truthful to ourselves. Right. I witnessed something. The Ghana election. Do you know that when they finish voting, when I was watching, I have Nigerian blood. I see what we do here. And they finish. It's the normal, that thing like the plastic bucket and all. One person carried it on a bike and he was taking it to the collation center. Nobody followed him. No guns followed him. Nothing. People are truthful to themselves that they know that this man will deliver that box there. Can you do that to a Nigerian? That is the truth. So it is not about the law. It's not about that signing. We must ask ourselves, what kind of society do we want to live in? What kind of society that even in the ballot, the polling unit, policemen and soldiers, they are all there waiting for the man who will come and make people not do their civic duties. So as a people, we must ask ourselves, beyond signing, what kind of society do we want to live in Edo State? Right.
Damzi, what is your take on this matter?
Yes, my take on this matter is clear. You know, in a lot of quarter, Nigerians hinge the blame only on INEC, but haven't followed electionary processes since 1999 till date. In my own opinion, the problem is not only the INEC. We know INEC have its own institutional challenges, ranging from the ad hoc staffs, which have become the major source of corruption in the commission. And the activities of the ad hoc staffs have also discredited several elections conducted by Independent National Electoral Commission. I had a very long discussion with a senior member of INEC sometime, and we shared lots of views. I opined that Independent National Electoral Commission should discard the idea of ad hoc staffs because they are not properly trained. You know, how do you make of an ad hoc staff who were just trained few weeks to election. Their mindset is always, during the election day, what to grab from politicians. I have had several experiences with them, several encounters with ad hoc staffs. Some are even party members, card-carrying members of political parties. So that has been a major problem in conducting credible elections in Nigeria. Then secondly, just like my brother Daniel here has said, that we must be true to ourselves. The technology deployed during the election, the beavers and the IREV and all that, for INEC to get it right, the beavers must be functional. The IREV should transmit the result in real time. That is the only reason, that is the only way out wherein Nigerians will rebuild confidence in INEC. But with the challenges of the Electoral Act and the Constitution, it is very, very difficult for that to happen. Section 60 is very clear that INEC may transmit result electronically or do it the other way around. So you see, it's a club, and INEC have hinged on that particular argument even up to the Supreme Court, and to the dismay of Nigerians, the Supreme Court bought their argument that they may not only transmit electronically. So if we must tell ourselves the truth as Nigerians who want a saner society, these things should be clearly defined. All the institutional challenges should be cut off. INEC, empower INEC to have enough manpower to conduct these elections. Not during the electionary processes, you see INEC bringing in people from diverse backgrounds. See, there should be background check on some of the persons assigned duties and responsibilities to conduct the election. You don't just bring in a man because somebody somewhere recommended him or her to come and be SPO1 and SPO2 in various units. You don't even know if these persons are card carriers of political parties. You don't know their relationship with the people contesting the election. So these are in-depth questions we need to ask and get clear-cut answers. Without these things happening, I don't see INEC delivering a free, fair, credible election in Nigeria. The beavers must be seen to be working perfectly. We don't want to hear stories of technological glitches. Glitches wouldn't happen, but only at the D-Day we hear technological. And this IREV and the beavers, from what we hear, are produced by one of the best in the world. So why is he not giving us best result in Nigeria? I mean, we are Nigerians and we need to just tell ourselves the truth for the interest of posterity.
All right. Joe Ajaero, president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, has asserted that the union will not be swayed by external pressures after his recent visit to the Intelligence Response Team headquarters in Abuja. Ajaero, who was questioned by the police over allegations of terrorism financing, cybercrime, subversion, criminal conspiracy, and treasonable felony, arrived at the IRT office at 10:17 a.m. and departed shortly after 11:15 a.m. He was accompanied by human rights lawyer Femi Falana, SAN, activist Deji Adeyanju, and other senior Nigerian Labour Congress officials. Speaking to journalists at the Labour House, Ajaero dismissed the allegations as baseless and reaffirmed the NLC's commitment to defending workers' rights. We cannot be intimidated, he stated. The accusations are unfounded and we have nothing to hide. Reflecting on past challenges, Ajaero recalled previous struggles alongside Falana during the Abacha regime and emphasized the union's determination to continue advocating for workers' welfare. He assured that the NLC will press for the implementation of the minimum wage and remain steadfast in its mission despite the obstacles. Ajaero described his appearance at the IRT as an effort to maintain transparency and address the allegations. Despite the serious nature of the allegations, he remained confident, asserting that the NLC's resolve is stronger than ever. The union remains united and focused on its mission, undeterred by attempts to undermine its efforts. Ndamzi, what do you have to say to this?
Yes. The Police Establishment Act of 2020, Section 4 particularly empowers the police force to maintain law and order in our society. And one of the procedures in maintaining law and order is that when a person is suspected to have committed a crime, at that stage, the person is a suspect. The police is within their rights to invite such a person, question the person, interrogate, and even go to the extent of investigating whether the allegations are true. If the allegations are true, the law allows the police force to take up action against such a suspect by way of charging the person for such crime as suspected. And also, Section 35 sub 2 of the 1999 Constitution allows any suspect either to make your statement or wait till your lawyer is present before you say a word to the police. It is not one of the duties of the police to compel a suspect to make statement. And the law also frowns on a police officer insisting on anyone writing statement without his lawyer. All right? So, in my opinion as a lawyer, I don't see anything wrong for the police to invite the NLC president if there is an information or he has been suspected to have committed an offense. The police didn't do wrong by inviting him. Look at those issues, question him, hear his answers, and possibly take a decision. And you can see they didn't hold him behind. That is to say, they have not found anything incriminating on him. But though we leave it at this, possibly with time we will know as event unfolds. All right, Daniel, what is your take?
Yes, you see, sometimes when we accuse politicians, let's be careful. Let me even read the first this thing. I have the letter here. He said the office is investigating. He said the office is investigating a case of criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, treasonable felony, subversion, and cyber crime, which you, not NLC, you, J Ajero, you. I think that bringing the body of NLC into this was for me a diversion of attention and all. And I wish that the Nigerian police can also give Nigerians this privilege. When you need me, you invite me, I'll tell you the time I will come. He gave them the day he wants to come, and they allowed it. The letter never said NLC. The letter said you, J Ajero. But he brought the body of NLC. The president, the lawyer of NLC, to defend his personal case. And see, we were quick to accuse politicians of using state resources. Whose resources was used yesterday? It is an allegation. And I will not sit here to say the police do not have a right to what they have done. Except you tell me this is what the police had done that was not correct. The police has invited you to say, you were mentioned in one of our cases that we're investigating. Your name came up. Not NLC as a body came up. Your name came up. And then why bring up all the media attention and using the paraphernalia of NLC as a body to say you are marching to us to do what? That was wrong. And see, no, if it was politician, remember when Bukola Saraki closed the National Assembly to attend the case? We all lost to say no. Why would you do that? That place belongs to Nigeria. Same way, the Nigerian Labour Congress does not belong to Joe Ajero. There were several other presidents who had defended, even including the military era. So this idea that you were accused, you gave them time that you would go, you went there and tried to make it look like it was an NLC something. No, sir, it was not an NLC.
And the NLC secretariat was raided. Why wasn't Joe Ajero's house raided?
The NLC secretariat does not house the NLC offices alone. It also rented some places for business.
The secretariat
I'm coming.
Raided. NLC came out to say that their offices was raided. Hold on. Okay. Now you're saying that this police invitation was not to NLC, it was to Joe Ajero.
No, you can read it. You can read the letter.
Hold on. Granted, I have the letter, a copy of the letter myself. The question is, if Joe Ajero was mentioned, why wasn't Joe Ajero's house, the person, the individual, raided? Why was NLC office raided? And you recall that shortly after that raid, even the police denied raiding that secretariat. The DSS denied. And after that, it still boiled down to the fact that the Nigerian police much later. Now, but why did they deny it in the first instance?
No, I'm coming.
Like I said,
okay.
If it was against the person and not against the body, why not raid the person's house? Why raid NLC secretariat? But you just have less than 30 seconds. Can you do that?
No, first, I think that evidences or materials they are looking for might not be in his house. According to their traces, I wouldn't want to speak for the police. I'm not saying that what the police did was right. But I think they would rather go to places where they suspect that they could get the information that they were looking for.
Well, don't you think by that singular action they roped in NLC into this matter?
No.
They did not.
No, the invitation was clear.
The invitation was
for
clear.
Me, the invitation was clear.
Was raided.
Yes, NLC secretariat was raided.
Less than 24 hours after NLC released a communique condemning extrajudicial killings of the police.
No, see.
Less than 48 hours after NLC released a communique also condemning the actions of the government by not listening to the exact reasons for the protest.
There were several CSOs who released statements.
On. Then the question is, why are these CSOs working free?
I think I think this invitation would later, like you said, we'll later find out what were the things.
I don't think this is the end.
No, of course, not at all.
As time, I'm sorry we are out of time. I would have loved us to continue on this particular story. But then we are out of time. Thank you so much for coming, Damzi. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
That's where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for adverts, placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.